Welcome back everyone, and it's time to go balls deep. And in this video we are covering the saucy chapters of My Hero Academia's War Arc.
Damn, that shit good!
I'll explain Shigaraki's new power and how All For One manipulated him into doing the experiment. So starting off from chapter 268, we get a brief flashback before Endeavor got in time to save our homegirl Miracle. And we all know why.
I'd like a large... What? Huh? Extra thick!
Endeavor discovered a shortcut where he encounters Cross, the shield hero, fighting with a high-end Nomu. Endeavor asks Cross what's the holdup, in which Cross explains the Nomu is regenerating, making shit really hard for them. But then we get Eraserhead coming to sort things out, as he says he will just erase their quirks. Present Mike joins the scene as Endeavor drills his fist into High-End's head. He even breaks down the anatomy of the Nomu, explaining how they have multiple layers of bone. We go back to Miracle as she continues her Muay Thai kick on Shigaraki's capsule. Just the force behind that drop kick says a lot about the capsule. It must be made out of some next gorilla glass, fam. Seriously, Miracle was able to one-shot a lot of these high-end Nomu guys with just her thick legs, but this glass seems to be holding up forever.
Hi, Phil Swift here for Flex Tape, the super strong waterproof tape.
Internally, Miracle notes that the second she saw Shigaraki, her rabbit animal instincts sent extreme fear into her, telling her that no matter what the cost is, Shigaraki cannot be released into the world. This highlights the level of fear and expectation the heroes have on Shigaraki. This is not only based on intel and past experience everyone had with the League of Villains, but Shigaraki himself. It's probably fair to say that Shigaraki is giving off vibes like All For One. That's why they are shitting themselves. But Dr. Saab, he yells at Miracle to stop as she goes in with her plus ultra dropkick. The glass cracks a bit, and at this point, according to the displayed screen, Shigaraki reaches 74% completion. Now, while this is happening, the female Nomu figures out that one of the heroes is able to nullify her quirk, who we all know is our sensei Eraserhead. In the end, this just shows her high level intellect. She Sherlock Holmes how to avoid being affected by running away from the other heroes, and then the female Nomu uses her quirk to unleash multiple shots of liquid at the heroes, which slows Endeavor long enough for the Nomu he was fighting to attack Miracle again and chase her down. And that Nomu, my friends, using his whip tentacle quirk, he grabs Miracle by her extra thick thighs, trying to drag her away as Shigaraki hits 75% completion. But just before Miracle pulls away, she uses her super move Lunar Arc to deal more damage to the capsule. Before the Nomu can drag her away and finish her off, Endeavor Supermans himself, saving Miracle as the machines start to fall apart. Alright, so moving on to chapter 269, it starts off with our bunny girl sent by Miracle on the floor, battered and bruised and all bloody. We then learn that for 5 minutes she was smashing Nomu's left, right and center. However, the best guy Endeavor comes to the rescue. He sears her wounds with his flames to make sure that she doesn't die. But Miracle is so Chad, she wants him to go and help the others instead. But this moment didn't last, as a T-Rex looking Nomu leaps forward, hungry to fight the #1 hero Endeavor. Meanwhile, Miracle informs everyone that Shigaraki is inside a capsule and they have a trigger for the Nomus. They are all told to not let Shigaraki wake up and that he's not your average villain anymore. But then again, he was never an average villain to begin with. They be smoking that good shit, you know what I'm saying?
This shit good.
We then cut to Peasant Mike. Oh shit, wait, I meant Present Mike. That reminds me guys, join the Discord because we have daily discussion and memes where we talk about My Hero Academia. Please hit the notification button on the channel. There are 4,500 peasants out there in the Discord. Guys, can we get this to at least 10,000 likes? I'd appreciate that. Please help us out. So anyway, Present Mike, Aizawa and X-Res are surrounded by 3 other Nomus. Aizawa keeps having flashbacks to his friend Kurogiri, who was turned into a special talking Nomu. It's also revealed that the T-Rex looking Nomu that attacked Endeavor was the one that escaped Aizawa's gaze. The Nomus are learning and adapting as they are being cautious of entering Aizawa's field of vision. He can't chase Nomu as he will have to blink, and in that fraction of a second he can be killed and everyone else will be at risk. Since he is in such a bind, Aizawa asks Mike and X-Res, a vision type hero, to get the fuck out of here because my man needs to blink, you know what I'm saying? Then we see some sick panels of Mike and X-Res dodging some Nomu Nomus as they make their way inside. On the inside, the doctor wants Might Guy to break through it like Goku and defeat Frieza, but he can't wait for Shigaraki to get out on his own. He says that the equipment is done for but the data is safe. He wants to wake Shigaraki prematurely, yet he can't bring himself to do it as this was his dream, his ultimate creation. He is feeling what I feel when YouTube asks me to delete a video because I put 3 seconds of a song. So the doctor's hard labor and everything is about to be ruined before his eyes because of some screaming troll and a guy named X-Res. As the doctor says, "Wake up, Shigaraki," a louder voice is heard. The screams of Present Mike shatters Shigaraki's tank. All the fluid leaks out. The doctor is about to have a heart attack. His face is like my parents when I told them I wasn't gonna become a doctor and I want to be a YouTuber.
हेलो पापा
क्यों की होया है तन्नू
मैंने आपको कुछ बोलना है वो I'm not gonna become a doctor. I want to talk about anime and my waifus.
मैं ले आके तेरा सारा सामान बाहर फेंक देना पैंट जो
मुझे डिग्री नहीं चाहिए
डिग्री तेरी पैंट तू एनिमे साइंस बुलशिट डिग्री बॉल्स डीप पता नहीं किथे किथे बॉल्स डीप तू आजकल गया है नारुतो दी मां दा फुद्दा पाड़ा
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
Present Mike is having none of this shit, fam. He punches the doctor into tomorrow as he reminisces about his friend who was turned into Kurogiri by the doctor. By the way, guys, if you want us to cover Aizawa's past, let me know in the comment section below because that is a really intertwined story in My Hero Academia and people don't understand it for some reason. With Shigaraki's tank exploding, he is on the floor and one of the Nomu says he is not breathing. His heart has stopped. But before we start putting the Fs in the chat boys to pay our respect to my dude, the doctor reveals with, you know, anime bullshit science, of course, which you know I got a degree in that shit, anime bullshit science is my thing, that Shigaraki was put into a state of suspension to lighten the burden of stabilization. However, even though the doctor says these words, by the looks of it, everything is over now. He had only lived for Shigaraki's sake and his goal will never be reached now that the Demon Lord's dream is dead. Furthermore, the villains are in deepest shit now as the reinforcements arrive and we see the villains in a tattered state. But at the end panel of this chapter, All For One is smiling in his prison as if all of this was according to plan. Could it be the plan to get them all into prison with him so that they can break him out? Once Shigaraki wakes up and explodes with his DK Quirk, he can make that a possibility. Not only will this allow him to break everyone out, but all the worst of the worst villains will now be free into society and taking over the world to cause havoc. So of course they will then accept Shigaraki and All For One as their leaders, or they will just kill him. Now quickly, coming back to chapter 268, Mirako refers to Shigaraki as bad news and calls him a thing, which emphasizes on the inhumane experiment that has taken place to create what he has become. She screams, "It cannot be released into the world, no matter the cost." Calling him it highlights the hypocrisy of the hero's dehumanization of the villains and the bigger message of My Hero Academia regarding the clash of ideals between the two parties. The villains believe the heroes are not true to their name due to the system and culture that has sprouted through their actions. For example, heroes enact a law that benefits profiting from violence, creating child spies such as Hawks, or even picking out selective prodigies such as Shoto and Bakugo for their own benefit since they inherited powerful quirks. Only certain people can become heroes. This is why the Liberation Front literally was calling out the facade of heroes because the system itself also prioritizes the power of one's ability. For example, Reed Destro stated his dissatisfaction with the current hero society. He's prone to pointing out its flaws and shortcomings, normally using villains as examples. He believes that despite the various quirks that exist, people still need to fit into a very specific mode to be accepted by society and are otherwise callously cast out. He holds the belief that being a villain is an escape for many, such as outcasts turning into this regime because they have little to no other options. He uses this to further endorse his agenda, claiming that in a society with completely liberated quirks, no one would have to feel alone or estranged. The main priority of villains is to create a world where they can freely use their quirks without regulations or prejudice. Some villains feel judged and misunderstood as most of them are just products of their environment, Shigaraki included, in which a hero didn't save him when he needed it most, but All For One manipulated him into becoming who he is. Shigaraki does not know the truth about Nana Shimura, his grandmother, where she was a one-for-all user that died to his master All For One. And let's not forget that Shigaraki idolized his grandmother, as we know from the time he saw her picture, it inspired him to also wanting to become a hero. However, his father scolded him with abuse and slapped my man across the room, just like society did to the other villains in the league, saying, "Kick out up your pants, I hate you, don't become a hero, I hate you." Oh, I'm like, bruh. We all assume All For One must be the man in the suit from Shigaraki's childhood that dropped him off back to his mother. The doctor has been working with All For One since back then, as he was the one that created the hands out of Shigaraki's dead family as a symbol of what he will become. Now, even more evidence that Shigaraki's life has been carefully mapped out by All For One is showcased in chapter 269. For example, when the doctor in his panic screams out, "The fruits of the labor of All For One and myself, oh, it's a waste," and he says, "I've lived for Shigaraki's sake." This only signifies that both of them had a plan and in cahoots with each other to make Shigaraki the perfect Nomu minion that will enact their will to become the symbol of terror, the opposite of All Might. I've explained this all in a previous video where I have given all the signs why Shigaraki will be the one that kills All Might, because All For One has planned all of it. At the end of the chapter, All For One is seen smiling as if everything is going according to plan, and he did mention in reply to the question in chapter 255 on what exactly Nomu are, in which he said, "It's like making wine, trampling the grapes to extract their juice. I merely want you to keep enjoying those delightful flavors." Horikoshi is using a metaphor here, because both the doctor and All For One mentioning fruits in a manner to express their plan, the fruit being Shigaraki, as he is the perfect Nomu experiment. This is because Shigaraki's new power will revolve around having multiple quirks like the Nomu or the ability to copy. The doctor explained to Shigaraki in chapter 246 that the power he will give is similar to All For One that will likely let him surpass him. We've already seen duplication technology where All For One and Johnny share the same quirk called Black Wolf. So the build up of this reveal has been quite obvious that he would either have the technology built into him or have multiple powers like a Nomu. For example, in My Hero Academia Heroes Rising the movie, the doctor makes a cameo with Shigaraki where he explains to him that nines was just a prerequisite and a test before actually achieving the real experiment that would take place on him. This foreshadowing and message doesn't even stop here, because the doctor calling All For One the Demon King and his dream is supposedly over is referencing the Demon King from the comic All For One and his younger brother used to read. In chapter 193, in a feud between the first One For All user and All For One, they talk about a comic regarding heroes and villains where All For One believes in the comic's Demon King to control the world. However, his younger brother says, "Listen, bitch, you didn't read the whole manga, fam. You didn't read up to volume 10, because the villains eventually lose and the world is saved from the Demon King eventually," which again highlights the fact that Deku's generation will be the one that destroys this regime and saves the world, since the events of their lives are following that book. If the panel is foreshadowing where the story is going, then it means the current heroes are definitely going to lose this situation, and it will be Deku and all the others that they have highlighted the fact that all of them have sensei now that are teaching them how to become independent heroes with strong powers and abilities. These are the guys where we will get a time skip. Deku, Shoto, Bakugo, all of these guys are going to be the ones that are going to have to fight Shigaraki and All For One in the time skip. That's what I think is going to happen. Anyway guys, that's the end of the video. Be sure to smash that like button, join the Discord. I hope you enjoyed my analysis. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Follow me on Twitter or Instagram, and I'll see you guys next time.